Next, why is everything gambling? I think it's relevant to today's
Prediction
stream.
markets.
Gamba, gamba, gamba. Even though your communist stream is now gamba. Everything is gamba. Let's fucking go. That is why we are the shitbag left. An elevated, we are much far above and beyond the dirtbag left, okay? We utilize the reactionary tool set against reaction. We utilize one of the most evil institutions ever invented, gambling, in order to get more people subs and to fund a socialist media program here on Twitch. That is what we do, but that does not stop us from criticizing capitalist gambling. So, new video from Good Work from a day ago. Why is everything gamba? Very ironic. Insomniu, thank you for the gift sub. Anytime, my friend. Welcome in.
They are websites that, for some reason, exist. When you go to one, you'll find an infinite scroll of real-world events and their possible outcomes on which you can bet your hard-earned inheritance.
Pizza famine. Speaking of gamba, pizza famine, do you want a gamba? I am very grateful for your taxes. As always, pizza famine is at this point literally a startup investor in my show. Okay? Thank you, pizza famine. By the way, pizza famine, did you heal? Did you heal? Give me that odd. You want on this one or on this one? New or old? Just say new or old. Odd on which one? New or old? Mostly. I'm glad. Old. Ah, smart motherfucker. And we spin. Odd on pizza famine. Zero is immediate loss. I fucking always say this. Pizza famine, you have zero luck. I swear to God, I love when pizza famine gambas. The worst option you could have gotten. Thank you, Pizza Famine, for trying. Hugo and chat is now equalized. Don't tell me this shit is set up. 2-2. Pretty close, though. Close on both sides, arguably. Thank you, Pizza Famine. Thank you very much.
Events.
Come on. There's no place on Twitch where you get the same experiences here. For those of you who are new, you have to concur. And not only on Valentine's Day. I can walk again, just not real good. How much longer did they tell you you will have to wait? Funnily enough, I had to go to see my mother because she sprained her ankle. Why is everybody breaking and spraining everything? Fucking ice. Both the fascist paramilitary movement, but also ice on the ground, making everybody fucking slip. How much longer did they tell you? Pizza famine. Probably writing it out.
Like, who will Donald Trump talk to in February? Logan Paul first edition Charizard sale price? Will Jesus Christ return before 2027? And when the U.S. will strike Iran? But to this unholy list of questions, I'd like to add one of my own. Why is this allowed? In the
honestly, I'm being very serious right now. How has this not been a thing since forever? That's a better question. Why have we only gambad on fast-running horses and dogs and people kicking footballs? I'm mind blown that although it took us to get to 2026 for us to just gamba on events. I genuinely don't know. Because everything in capitalism should imply that some sort of capitalist should have figured this out decades ago. Why is it now? I think it was illegal in the U.S. I'm talking specifically about gambling on events, right? The poly market shit, the Kalshi, whatever shit. It wasn't mainstream anywhere. Anywhere. Thank you, Jocula, for the 5, baby. Hvala ti, brate. Hvala ti puno. Nice to see you, Jocula. I still hate you, though. I'm kidding, I don't. Most of gambling on Kalshi is sports gambling now. Yeah, it always goes back to the OG form, but we will see as 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 sports become less and less popular, the other form of gambling will become more and more popular. Again, I'm reiterating my question, my dear friends. How has this not been a major thing already? Literally because of Vegas. There you go. Smart chatters can reply. Literally because of Vegas and Atlantic City less so. The Andelsons of all people were the only reason gambling was not allowed outside of Vegas for decades, which included the internet. Thank you very much. Can somebody give a sub to our chatter for actually teaching us something? Once religion went out, namely anti-Gamba Protestantism and secular capitalism came in, it was only a matter of time before everything became Gamba. Yes, one Hondo. But again, why did we not have gambling on whether... I know that it existed, but it was too niche. It was not mainstream. On what character will die in Game of Thrones. Why didn't we have that 10 years ago? Because everything I know about capitalism teaches me that we should have had this in the 90s. And we see the material underpinning, basically monopoly on Gamba inside of the United States. And now I guess Silicon Valley is powerful enough to create an alternative to that Gamba, that sort of old school Gamba, without being obstructed by the old Gamba families, because the old Gamba families don't have as much money as Silicon Valley does. Thought there was gambling for who dies in Game of Thrones. Yeah, there was, but it was very niche, very non-mainstream shit. Years ago, everyone wanted to be woke, and Gamba was not woke. You made your money of pandering to libs and whitewash wokeness. True? But that's specific to a gambling scene in the U.S. It's different for other countries. Yes. For the U.S., I said. Why has this not been a huge thing everywhere else? I don't get it. Some of the biggest... crypto banks right now are just born out of fast credit systems of the past, fast loans. You know what they did? It's kind of brilliant. Respect your enemy. Some of the biggest crypto banks right now, they're making billions, but we're only making millions by being basically legal loan sharks back in the day. You know what they did? They said, when they saw crypto coming in, they said, you can loan. We can give you a loan, not based on physical assets that you have that we will take if you cannot give the loan back, but your crypto. You can use your crypto as the asset that we will take if you don't pay back your shit. And turns out when something is as volatile as crypto, you get to take the asset with even when the person pays back their shit. So I might be breaking, maybe there's crypto bros in here that can explain it better. And by the way, crypto bros hate these banks. There's an ideological battle there and so on. That the trick was the following. Because, for example, you put a mortgage on your house. Can I get $100,000? You can take my house if I don't pay them back. They give you a month. You come back after a month with $100,000. You keep your house. You don't come back, they take your house. I'm not talking about regular banks. I'm talking about these fast loan systems, right? Fast credit system, as we call them here. But what happens when you give $50,000 worth of Bitcoin now as your mortgage for 50,000 USD? What happens when crypto prices fall like crazy, and now that $50,000 worth of Bitcoin is worth $30,000? They put it in the clause that they can just not give you back the money. They just take that shit. Or they take the difference. They still can keep the difference. But why would anybody take that deal? Because it's a Gamba deal. They also tell you if it increases in price, it's fucking brilliant. If it increases in price, if that $50,000 in the next month before you come back to pay back your money. If it goes up to 70, they will take that 20,000 additional net and they will deduct it from how much you owe them. So you will owe them indirectly less because the asset that you mortgaged has now become more valuable. So your loan is now cheaper. But they only did that because they looked at the statistics and there was a higher chance of it going down. There's no losing, right? If you don't pay your shit, they will take your crypto. If crypto goes down, they will take your crypto. If you pay back, okay, we're on relative zero. We still have the percentage that we've skimmed. It's an insane scheme, and that's how a lot of very liquid, fast credit loan systems turned from multi-million dollar businesses into multi-billion dollar conglomerates, like fucking insane money. Insane cash. They do that with stock portfolios anyways. Yes, but they just introduced crypto. It sounds absurd. They introduced crypto the same way you could mortgage your stock portfolio. Knowing, though, that crypto is more volatile than almost any stock portfolio, almost. And they made bank. And they made insane bank. So TLDR, for those of you who didn't follow, loan sharks were like, yeah, sure, I'll take your crypto. And they made billions. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God. Because usually the implication is you think like, oh, these are like OG holders of crypto, right? These are like OG dudes that just bought in very early and now had like an insane amount of crypto, right? Incredible value in crypto. And they became banks where they could loan you crypto or you can mortgage your crypto, et cetera, because they were holding capital. That they were like regular banks just utilizing this quote-unquote alternative currency. But no, it was mostly loan sharks. Like it was mostly like big buff tattooed fucking dudes that probably talked to some nerd who was like, dude, let's do this crypto thing. And they were like, shut the fuck up. He's like, please let me do this with like 5 clients. You'll see how much money you make. And then it exploded. I can guarantee you that most of the ultra CEOs of some of the world's biggest crypto banks don't even believe in crypto whatsoever. Like whatsoever. And that's why like OG, like general decentralization, blockchain believers and so on fucking hate those guys. It's like two tribes. It's like Trotskyists and MLs, but of the crypto world. It's very interesting. Subprime loans, but with crypto. Exactly that, my brother. Exactly that. There was an overhaul of regulating finance laws after the crisis in 2008. The win rates dropped after that. After that, crypto was the new unregulated thing. Yeah. What are ZINs in your part of the world? We now have ZINs as well. We have entered Empire. But it's Velos. It's Velos. I'm surprised that I don't have a single crypto guy in chat. I don't have a single crypto guy. We will not judge you, by the way. Get your bank. I don't give a shit. There's more unethical ways. I have small ones. I have crypto. Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This has been told to me by a guy that is in a very decent position in a crypto bank. Very, very decent position. Very, very close friend of mine. And he does not believe in crypto whatsoever. He's just making his money. Maybe some crypto commies. They exist. You would be surprised. It's just very taboo and they don't want to bring it up. But there's a lot of like blockchain socialists. There's even a very good podcast, Blockchain Socialist, that is very decent. Do I agree with everything? No. Is it mostly because I don't understand anything he's fucking saying? Mostly. Not everything, but most of the things is mostly that. I'm listening to like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of socialist is this? Banks are done, bro. Pull your money out while you still can. Tyler, 23, has $256 at Wells Fargo and 100 Doge and Robinhood. This is like 20% of my friends. I hope they're not watching this stream. Oh. I won a competition 5 years ago. It was worth $1,100, and last time I checked, 2 years ago, it was like $200. Son of a bitch. 5 years ago, now it's 200. Come on, you must have had some fucking horrible coins. Balato, I'll check it out. Balato for Gamba time. Oh, but unfortunately I'm on Mac, my friend. I'm not sure I can download it. But Balato apparently is so addictive. I don't wanna touch it. People that play it tell me you can't stop. Vjeruj mi, brate, kupi još, brate. Brate, još malo. Samo što nije, brate. Anyways, back to this. Remember, you can gamba. Let's do big numbers today. It's a great day. It's Valentine's Day. 35% off. Wawa.
Rapidly evolving genus of prediction markets, two species stand above them all. Polymarket and Kalshi. These companies are strikingly similar beasts who together are largely responsible for the recent prediction markets boom. In just the last year, they've partnered with news agencies and sports leagues, launched massive ad campaigns, and each reached valuations of about $10 billion while processing.
Jesus, I almost short-circuited everything. I almost spilled water on like my extension cord. What the fuck?
Over $1 billion from users every
Will you be my Valentine, you were? Yes.
week. Folks,
I'm a Valentine's Day slut. I'm everybody's Valentine.
it's prediction markets world, and we're living in it.
Prediction markets are the future.
Predictions markets, very hot right now.
Google announcing it will integrate Kalshi's data into their search results.
The NHL just became the first major U.S. pro league to strike licensing deals with prediction market platforms.
An everyday person could liquidate their 401k and bet it on how many times the Chipotle CEO is going to say carne asada in their earnings call.
Prediction markets are going to be the next thing, separating your boyfriend from his salary.
I've been getting into prediction markets, and I think more people should be involved.
So we bought
Oh my god, dude.
$100 that it's gonna go up. I'm locked in. No!
I made around $500 on Zohran. And then I lost all of them. We joked. I'm gonna be transparent. We even had a stream where we went on Polymarket. I wanted to gamba with some of the subscription money. I put $500 on. I lost some of it, but then I put $300 on Zohran, and that went into like $700 or something. So I had around $500 profit. And then I bet it on something that showed me that this thing is not going to work and I'm never going to make money off of it. You know what it was? It was kind of my fault, but still, learn from my mistakes, chat. Learn from my many mistakes. It was when the United States hit, according to the United States, hit the nuclear facilities, nuclear development facilities in Iran. And the Ayatollah went underground. And there was a bet that the Ayatollah will not appear publicly in the next 30 days. And it had an 80%, it had only a 20% chance of happening. And I was looking at that and I was like, man, this is free money. There's no way the Ayatollah comes out of a bunker in the next 30 days. There's no fucking way he comes out in the next 6 months. So I put like everything I had on that thing. And then I checked my portfolio and it's on $0. I'm like, what? He's not going to appear publicly. He's not going to exit the bunker. Guess where I got fucked over? Appearing publicly also includes appearing on television. And if I read the text block like this, it said it all the way at the end. He appeared on fucking camera, which counts as appearing publicly, and I lost all the fucking... So I was like, okay, these guys are always going to fuck me. They're smarter than me. I'm not doing this shit. They're always going to play me. I'm not touching this shit again. And I deleted my account, and I've never done it again. Scammed like a little bitch. Got fucking murdered, dude. I got murdered. I got killed. What's up, Cosmic Commie? Welcome back, my friend. No worries. I'm sure you'll look fantastic as well. The game was rigged from the start. Ay, ay, ay.
Yo, this is emotional.
But prediction markets weren't always the multi-billion-dollar addiction apps that your husband checks on his phone immediately post-climax. In fact, prediction markets got their start as the insignificant fringe
Wait, I'm lying. I have $100 left off from that I put on Trump invading Greenland. Trump deploying troops in Greenland. Doing a military operation in Greenland. Probably gonna lose those $100, but it's by the end of 2026, and you never know what he'll do to dissuade people from looking at the Epstein files. So you know.
interest of enormous nerds. In 1998, faculty members at the University of Iowa created experimental prediction markets.
You lost already? You suck at Gamba? Well, I don't suck that much at Gamba. 2-2. I am on same pairing as you, motherfuckers. Skill set, and I'm gambaing against 550 people. Okay. This says a different story. You want to prove me wrong? You're very welcome to try, baby. 35% off.
It's to discover what we could learn from letting people bet on things like the presidential election. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which oversees pretty much all trading, let them run the experiment so long as they kept the money dial turned down for non-profit/academia purposes. But now these things are most certainly non-profit. In fact, they're mucho profit. Did you see this coming? This explosion of prediction markets?
Anybody that says they saw this coming is full of shit, I'll tell you that much. It was so small, there was nothing going on in the background.
Dustin Gauker is a reporter who writes Event Horizons, a fantastic newsletter on prediction markets, if I do say so myself.
Well, I agree with him. I'm again asking the question, like, this sounds like something that capitalists would have invented like 80 years ago. It almost sounds like an old-timey thing. Bet on who's going to be president, bet on who's going to have a sex scandal, bet on who's going to be canceled, bet on who's going to be mayor, bet on whether Taylor Swift's album will sell more than 100 million copies or less than 100 million copies. That type of shit. Like, come on. It sounds so, like, come on. Sounds old-timey capitalism. Sounds so basic.
Explain to me why, at its core, the idea of prediction markets is so potentially valuable in the eyes of the world's beta-blocked VC bros.
Information is money, right? Information is super valuable. The more information you can have about world events and what's to come, that information is power. Like, if you can tap into that information, then you have something. And again, this is why major financial interests are really getting into this and really find this interesting.
The major financial interests Dustin is talking about here are, among other things, investment banks and hedge funds, a few of which are hiring traders for prediction markets, titans of traditional news media, Venmo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Donald Trump Jr., who's an advisor to Polymarket and Kalshi, and his daddy, whose social media platform is making their own prediction market.
You want a prediction? Prediction death squads is my fucking prediction. My fucking prediction is I put $200 million on a thing. I can afford to pay $10 million to a fucking death squad to make sure that Coca-Cola enters the Brazilian market and opens factories in villages where the villagers are protesting against another Coca-Cola factory being made. It's literally an unbeatable business model.
Truth Predict. The fundamental argument for prediction markets' usefulness is that they tap into the so-called wisdom of crowds, turning them into an extremely accurate predictive tool. The idea is that if you get a large number of people betting on something, you're gonna...
What do you do, bro? I'm in a prediction market death squad.
...approximate the best possible guess at the outcome. With modern prediction markets specifically, this has to do with the sheer number of people betting, but also the types of people betting. Experts and people with inside information could be incentivized to get in on the action. These traits were immediately noted by economists in the early 2000s who noticed that the Iowa electronics market was actually predicting political outcomes better than most experts and pollsters. We also saw an example of this in the 2024 presidential election, when traditional forecasting methods had the race as a toss-up, but prediction markets saw it as a clear Trump dub. And it's this kind of stuff that has Kalshi claiming their predictions are as good as Wall Street, and as Polymarket CEO Shane Copeland feeling confident enough to talk a big game to this immortal news elf.
And how accurate is it?
It's the most accurate thing we have as mankind right now, until someone else creates some sort of super crystal ball.
But perhaps you're wondering how the Benny Blanco of Peter Thiel's got away with running this multi-billion-dollar company. I thought prediction markets were supposed to be non-profit. And in Iowa, what happened? Compliance. It can be a scary word.
Gamba. It can be a scary word, but sometimes it can be done in a very, very ethical manner. 35% off only on Valentine's Day. Buy your fellow chatter a subscription status. Make them fall in love with you. Look at them from across the room with and spin that wheel of fortune. That's it. That was the pitch for the third hour. That was the pitch for the third hour. 5 subs plus 35% off, and you can spin the sexy roulette wheel on it, and we can double it. What the fuck are you waiting for? Genuinely, it's. I'm giving you 35% off on Valentine's Day gifts that you can give to 5+ people, potentially double into 10+ people. Okay, this is Valentine's Day Twitch orgy time. Okay.
It don't matter if you're a chief information security officer at a goddamn enterprise business, a startup founder, or a plain old employee. But compliance doesn't have to be scary, no ma'am. Not if you choose.
Thank you, Jokula, for that $5, baby. And thank you, Trick the Rogue, for giving your fellow chatter a nice Valentine's Day gift. On 6 or 9. Do you want to do it in the new one, Jokula, or on the old one? Jokula, because he has $1 gift subs, can only do it on a number. Do you want the old one or the new one, Jokula? And afterwards, Trick the Rogue. Those of you who are new, yes, we like ethically Gamba here. It's fucking hilarious. Old one. 6 or a 9, and we spin. 6 or a 9 for Jokula. 6 or a 9 for Jokula. Oh, thank God. Jesus, that was so close even. Jokula has tried, but Jokula, as always, has motherfucking failed. I'm kidding. I love you. Yugo3 Chat 2. Now, Trick the Rogue. Do you want to spin, or were you just giving me a Valentine's Day gift? What is your choice? I don't Gamba. Thank you, Trick the Rogue, for the Valentine's Day gift. Very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Vanta turns compliance into compliance. I'm calm. No matter how big you are.
The video got quiet? What the fuck, OBS, bro?
Ma'am, not if you choose Vanta. Vanta turns compliance into compliance. I'm calm. No matter how big you are or fast you're moving, you can trust Vanta's automation to get you complying quickly and painlessly, keep you secure with continuous monitoring, and make sure you're not screwing up important stuff like audits. You do not want to screw up audits. It's what my great-grandpappy used to tell me during visiting hours at that white-collar
Because not enough of you Gamba, I'm leaving you with an ad to go and take a piss, okay?
prison they kept him in. We'll clear his name one day. But with Vanta, you don't have to worry about any of that, folks. Breathe in that compliance, baby. Breathe that shit in. Head on over to vanta.com/goodwork to get started. That's vanta.com/goodwork. Thanks very much to our friends over at Vanta for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to it. Now, quick lesson on legalized gambling for you. Here in the United States, if you're going to create a gambling product, first off, great idea. You're going to become a trillionaire. But second of all, you're going to need to hire a high-functioning team of cold, heartless lawyers to machete their way through jungles of red tape to launch said gambling product. It took the sports betting industry years and years of lobbying and groundwork to launch their products, because gambling is regulated by the states, not the federal government, so they had to do the whole process state by state. And they've still got 11 more states to go. But Kalshi and Polymarket, these cats work smarter, not harder. They looked at everything you have to do to legally launch a gambling product and said, but what if it wasn't a gambling product? Dustin, how's this shit not illegal?
That's a big question. That's the question everybody's grappling with right now. It's legal because it's federally regulated under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission.
Now, if you'll remember, the good people over at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, who oversee futures and other derivatives trading, not juicy enough. Excellent. Basically, prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket consider themselves to be closer to the IO electronics market than DraftKings. By this logic, their argument to the CFTC is that what they offer isn't a gambling product, but instead markets to trade futures contracts on real-world events that have meaningful economic consequences.
We're a neutral, transparent financial market. We're like the New York Stock Exchange.
Shush. We're like the stock exchange. I'm back. Apologies. And I'm back to I don't think so with another 5, baby. Thank you. I don't think so. Thank you very much. I don't think so has been a fucking legend today. We got a hype train. 35% off. Hype train. Gamba. Man, if chat doesn't go purple now, I don't know when it will. We're talking about Gamba. We're doing ethical Gamba. And it is V-Day. Okay? True Veterans Day. What is it? It's people that are in relationships. The true heroes of our time. Continuous PTSD enjoyers, sex havers, grass touchers, cuddlers, pet havers, children havers, marriage signature givers. Crassy shit. If I didn't already hate Kevin Hart, his sports betting is live in Missouri commercial being ran 5 times in a span of 2 minutes every half an hour definitely did. Yeah. By Gamba again, you might lose. Oh, please, you're very welcome to spin, my friend. But have you considered the Dow is at 50,000 points? Let's Gamba. Fuck yeah. I know you said yours are less than 4, but I'll give you 5 that are less than $4. But we can spin. I don't mind.
Right. What is the difference between gambling and prediction markets?
There hasn't been a single financial derivative that has been set up in the US or otherwise that hasn't been called gambling at the beginning.
Now, we're starting to get into some sticky legal territory here, and if I'm keeping it 100, I do not 100% comprendo. And whenever that happens, I'm always sure to call up a professor of business law at Seton Hall Law School.
I'm a professor.
Nice drip, Hugo. Thank you. I'm kind of proud. This is the nicest vest I've ever purchased. It looks like it's straight out of fucking Cyberpunk, and it's got a crazy thing. Are you ready to see it? If this isn't a Coke pocket, I don't know what the fuck a Coke pocket is.
I mean, subscriber.
It's pretty classy. It was a gift. Thank you, Barry Balls. Thank you very much, as always.
Professor of business law at Seton Hall Law School.
Home of the...
Thank you for saving the hype train, by the way. What the hell are you on? We can spin again. Yes, I don't think so. Always, when you want to spin, tell me odd, even, red, black, and I will do it.
Home.
Or you can put it on a number. That's always fun.
Of basketball.
If I lose, I'm going to lose my mind.
Players.
Oh, Glenn, what's your mascot? What's your mascot you got over there?
I should know this, but
you don't know. We'll edit that part out. So home of the
Pirates.
There you go. I tasked old Ilya Balin here with translating the legalese by which Polymarket and Kalshi argue they're permitted to operate their platforms across the country.
The instruments that prediction markets use are styled as derivatives, and they can be styled as swaps. They can also potentially be styled as futures or options, but irrespective of which derivative they're styled as, once they're characterized as a derivative, they, subject to some considerations, can be listed on a derivatives exchange. This goes back to late 1800s, early 1900s. A major exchange, the Chicago Board of Trade, and there were a few other exchanges too. It was hosting some real trading in grain, the years of the Civil War, foodstuffs. It also started trading what are called futures, a certain grade of a commodity at a certain price at some future date. And these were the first exchange-traded derivatives we saw in the U.S.
His words were going in my mouth and up to my brain with a speed and complexity I was frankly uncomfortable with. I needed to reestablish control. I just want to let you know, no matter how hard you try, I'm right there with you.
I love it.
I know it might not look like it, but mentally, I'm exactly where you are.
I like walking odd woods, and company is good in them.
I'm in that woods with you. I'm in that woods with you, brother. If it's economic function and utility that's the key to legalization here, how come I'm looking on prediction markets and there's a 5% chance that Jesus is going to come back?
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Thank you.
The explanation is drift. The explanation is regulatory drift. And
what does that mean?
You start at a place where something makes a lot of sense, and then circumstances evolve.
Son of a bitch, why is OBS doing that? I'm guessing you guys are experiencing the same audio drag that I am, because this video is spiking like crazy. Like, I don't hear it spiking, but I see on the line that it's spiking. I'll lower the actual gain on it. No, fine on my end. Really? Well, I'm glad, because OBS is showing it constantly in the red. Continuously in the red. 5 on even. Let's run it back. 5 on even. 5 on even. And we spin for it. I don't think so. Son of a fucking bitch. 5 on even. Congratulations. Congratulations. Afghan nation. Afghan nation. Good for you. Everybody say thank you to I Don't Think So for grabbing you another $5. Be like them. 35% off on Gamba Gamba Gamba. Everything is Gamba, including socialist Twitch streamers now. 1 minute left of the level 5 Hippetrein.
And products, financial products, as all these evolutions are taking place, they change. At each step, the new one sort of resembles the status quo, but the steps get further and further from that core, including the core purposes that an instrument, at the time it was brought into the regulatory system, was designed to serve.
Thank you, Ilya. That was beautiful. But it also alludes to why, again, this all feels like it shouldn't be allowed.
I think my problem with Kalshi has been they tell us that none of what they're doing is gambling. That's the big thing. The argument is, so under the CFTC, everything has an economic consequence. If you're allowing event contracts, it has to have.
Jesus, come on, level 5 chat, 35% off. Let's do this. Come on, come on, come on. You know you want to do it.
An economic consequence, right, in the world. So in that world, everything has an economic consequence. I can invent an economic consequence to everything. But yeah, there's this line of things that are really important markets, Fed interest.
Personal thing. The woman just voice messaged me. She found a wedding dress. She found a wedding dress. She's in Istanbul, for those of you who don't know. Look for a wedding dress. She just found a wedding dress. Yes. I'm so glad. All the bits, by the way, go to the wedding, for those of you who don't know. Next 6 months worth of bits all go to the wedding. Budget. Yeah, very nice. She went there with 2 friends. It's like the wedding gown capital of the world. You have entire streets, entire malls completely dedicated to wedding gowns. Every type of wedding gown you can imagine at pretty affordable prices. I mean, they're not affordable. They're horrible. It's a very overpriced market. It's insane. But compared to other places, it's very affordable. Turks and Ukrainians make the highest quality to price gowns in the world. She can get her teeth fixed, her hair transplanted, and get a wedding dress in the same place. Welcome to Turkey.
Rate cuts, the price of Bitcoin. These are things that are very easy to diagnose. They have an economic consequence.
But yeah, I'm really glad for her. She was looking for it for a while. She really cares about finding the dream dress, and she did find it. It's very cool. It's very cool. My partner has this. She's an incredibly serious person. She's actually a very fucking serious person. I am the opposite. She's a very serious person. Job-wise, personality-wise, but she's also got that very, very lovely, when she feels very safe and so on, she's surrounded by people that she truly knows, then she just becomes this little fucking cuddly little, literally like fucking 12-year-old child. Don't fucking Epstein me right now. I mean, in the way she behaves, she when she's safe, she's very silly and outgoing and the party head and so on. She's a fucking teenager. But otherwise, you send her to work or with people she doesn't know, she's a fucking terrorist.
World. All these other things are
watch a stream. Yes, she's a subscriber.
More
even gambled once.
Just for betting.
And then when she lost, she forced me to like buy her food for the amount that she lost. Fucking piece of shit.
Speculation. And again, like we have these things because
we were together for 5+ years. Yes, hence the wedding. I'm a very modern guy.
Because there hasn't been a whole lot of thought. Kalshi insists everything's an event. Everything can be traded, and there you go. You get everything in the world. And again, the CFTC has just kind of said, sure, it's all an event. We're not going to stop you.
And amongst the events that take place daily in our world, there is none bigger than sports, which dominate prediction market volume and make them seem pretty gambly. Kalshi in particular has made a big push into sports, which has been a huge source of growth. The numbers constantly...
Will you wear the balaclava to the wedding? You feel like you're very original, buddy. This is like, I think, the 70th same joke, and it's a funny joke.
Changing, but as of late 2025, about 90% of the fees Kalshi was collecting on trades came from sports. Trades like taking Los Angeles L over New York K in pro basketball.
Long family of motherfucking gamblers, and it scratches that itch. And these cunts are telling me that I can't scratch that itch, that it's not fucking gambling. I gotta go back to the racetracks. Fuck that shit. I'm good at this one, and it is gambling. Literally Chad. Literally Chad. He has over 550K winnings, he said. Currently on in the platform, he has around 250 invested in different bets.
Arguing that it's not gambling, you got a tough battle ahead of you. But there's different types of gambling. Like if I'm flipping a coin and calling it, there's no skill to that, right? It's 50-50, you're right or you're wrong. But something like a poker or prediction markets or the stock market.
It's literally like, I've done so much gambling. This is the most complex gambling. That's why I do it. I'm gamba maxing. My boy is everybody's like, sir, please, like you're one of our biggest like spenders. Can you please tell people that it is not gambling? He's like, no, but this is the most gambling I've ever gambled. This is like gambling on steroids. This is veteran gambling, the platform. Why are you telling me this is not? I love this guy. I love this guy. I love this fucking guy.
Ways to give yourself an edge. So you have to have an edge of some sort. If you're an idiot, you're probably not going to do well. So you've got to have some level of intelligence.
Idiots are not going to do well in these.
I would recommend if you're an idiot, do not join this unless you want to just lose money for fun.
Ultimately, law has to be about the people, not the legalese. What's the difference when you open up a wager on the Red Sox game on, say, FanDuel versus Kalshi? Why is one gambling and the other legitimate financial activity that's regulated by the federal government? Because a laywoman can't come up with
them.
a good justification for that distinction. I think we're sort of in real trouble.
To be clear, I don't think prediction markets should be banned. I think that there is some value, and I think people should be able to interact with them how they want, but I do think that the regulation around them has to shift.
New correspondent is Kyla Scanlon, an author and economics commentator who recently published an op-ed about the dangers of prediction markets in some rag called the New York Times.
I try to stay away from good and bad as words, but I think the reason it might be something to be cautious about is because of what the platforms incentivize, which is that insider trading. They also have a lot of really questionable markets. There's markets on whether or not the leader of Iran will be overthrown. There's markets on all of these things that maybe, again, we shouldn't be betting on. And so there's sort of this validation that
Why shouldn't we be betting on those and should be betting on others? I don't understand the argument.
Mainstream outlets are providing to prediction markets when they do partner with them and talk about the odds as sort of this consensus reality, like this thing that we should all accept is happening because there's, bets that it's going to happen. I'm not
That is insane, yes.
not saying that people are wrong for doing this. It makes sense. And I think it ties into the broader issue of financial nihilism, where people feel like they can't get ahead. So they might as well go bet on all of this stuff. But that creates further desensitization.
Yes, especially because your dad and your mom probably told you that gamba is bad and that it is a disease and that it can ruin your life, which it is. Please don't gamba anywhere except here on yugopnik Twitch because it's fucking funny and it's actually ethical here. And what these companies do when they do not define themselves as gambling institutions is remove themselves from the very well-deserved stigma that exists around gambling, which is that it can potentially ruin your life. So you tell yourself, I'm not gambling. I watch the news all the time. I know more than the average layman. There's a bigger chance that I can make money here than there is in the casino. And that's just not true. That is just not true. Gambling is betting on an outcome. Let me repeat that. Gambling is betting on an outcome. That's it. And to convince people that they are not gambling when they are gambling is simply a marketing trick. Simply a marketing trick.
Too. So I think you can become more attached to something happening, but becoming more attached to a leader getting overthrown because you have money on the line, I think that psychologically and morally, morals are tough, but like that's a tough one to process, right?
Indeed, it seems to me.
The stock market, gambling, unironically, you can say that everything is gambling. There are potential directions your life can go in, and you make choices. Every time you make a choice, you're gambling. What are you gambling with when it's not literally cash? Well, it's the only thing that's more important than cash, time. If I invest the next 10 years of my life to this education, to this marriage, to this job, to this cause, what will I get in return? And are alternative choices going to give me a greater return? How do you define return? That is subjective. Right? So yes, I guess everything is gamba. Everything is gamba. That's why 5 gift subs plus you can spin the wheel here because we are honest about that, motherfucker. Now 35% off.
That what these prediction market companies.
Hey, I could do that pitch. We're 3 hours 30 minutes. It's ethical. Also, I am winning. No, wait, I'm losing. Why is this says 3-2? No, it's 2-4. Did I win? No, I am winning. Chat, I am winning against you in gamba. That's absurd. That is fucking stupid. There's so many of you and only me here. And in the 5 gambas we did today, I what the fuck? Western taxpayers, where's the exclamation point tax? Where are your taxes? I want to spin on a 20. Okay? Western white people, come on. Valentine's Day spinning, 35% off. You know what to do.
Are doing isn't so much capitalizing on their potential economic value, but rather the general chaos of our world fueled by a never-ending media cycle and the crippling gambling addiction me and the boys developed after parlaying on Aaron Rodgers.
The goal is not subjective, though, because capitalism has its roots everywhere, so systemic factors influence our subjective feelings of what the best ROI is. That is correct. But then again, every other system would also influence your subjective feeling of what the best ROI is. So you will never really, there's no such thing as identifying an objective ROI. Unless you destroy systems in of themselves or evolve your species out of it, which is also known as the abolition of hierarchy, not just class, of hierarchy, which is the goal of our cause in the next fucking 1,000 years or whatever. So yes, you will always have a subjective definition on what the best ROI is, except for me want baby, me want food and mouth, me want shelter. Those are your quote-unquote human nature imperatives, and you don't necessarily even have to follow those. But those are the only ones that are like as imperatives, not as potentials, independent of system.
Back in 2011. I mean, this is what happens when you pump your dorky finance product with 100
I agree completely.
fluid ounces of VC-backed cash steroids.
Me want you in my mouth.
It's a brass strategy.
God
but
bless.
will that strategy work out for them in the long run? Seems to be a gamble they're willing to take. You can bet on that. Casino. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
There you go. Oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God, heretical mandible. What did you just send me? How did you? Oh no, but no. My producer did find this, but in another form. Let's just check a little bit of it out. Epstein's intelligence ties. Pam Bondi's. Oh my God, I want to see the Pam Bondi reaction. Oh my God, she fumbled that shit so bad. What about the Dow?
I agree. The average person who watches this, they look at it and say, why don't you talk to the victims? Why don't you go speak to them? Why don't you want to hear their stories? What is the risk for Bondi to speak to them?
Again, I want to be clear. I'm trying to show people the different angles of the 35,000-foot view. I think Bondi's handled this terribly. I believe they are involved in
Don't you always get surprised by how he sounds like? Don't you always get surprised by what he sounds like?
cover-up, which has led them right into this disaster. And I'm going to answer your question, but first I want to say this. That's why Trump has to go there with all the human sacrifice, with the blood drinking, with the black magic on the blackboard, with the buried bodies, with the buying babies, with the disappearing children, and it's all Democrats connected to it. Instead, as Bondi said in the hearing yesterday, she said it'll bring down the stock market if this is known. I've said that about 500 times. Not that I agree with that, but I've been told right before Trump got reelected, they said, listen, Mossad, British intelligence, CIA ran this. It's really a giant money laundering operation, which we already knew. Yeah. Mike Pence has proven. Trump believes that it's also cold. There's no way to prove it. The Democrats have had the file. They're going to twist it. He's been convinced it's all disaster. It's old news. It's designed to be a tar baby, which it is. So he's going to say, let's just move on. But I explained at the time, and I've told the White House this, you can't. It's a trap. This is how the people that are guilty trick you into becoming an accomplice and then manage it and turn it around and politically destroy you. And then, of course, none of the truth ever comes out. It's all a giant smokescreen of garbage and fake AI and the rest of it. So I was just simply bringing that clip up, not to obfuscate from the clip, that's why I raised it, but to
what the fuck is he
say, here's the other layers to it that are going on. Now, to answer your other question, yes, this looks absolutely horrible. She looks like a deer in the headlights. She looks like she has a gun to her head. Like when we saw Bongino and Patel 11 months ago get up on Fox, they go, I know we said there were another shooter in Pennsylvania. There wasn't. Epstein acted alone. In fact, he wasn't even a child trafficker, and he had no accomplices, and he killed himself, and the Easter Bunny is real. And everybody turned against him because we'd already studied it. We knew it wasn't true, plus it was a 180. So it's just...
This is why I hate having to wear a mask. My mouth is literally like completely open right now. This is incredible.
Same thing. It looks terrible. It is terrible. It's hurting Trump really bad. It's hurting America. And again, my frustration is it lets the Democrats, who are the ones that are really guilty, if you look at the evidence, pretend that it's Trump and the Republicans that are the pedo protection party. And notice they're not going to the big reports of top Democrats and people raping kids and all the witnesses and everything. They're focusing on Lutnick, which is fine. Lutnick obviously was in business with him, obviously moved in next door to him, lied and said he only saw
it. Question for you about Thomas Massey Rupp. Can you pull up the clip with...
My God, both of them got that fucking glug 3000 voice. Man, they were 69ing hard, dude. I can't imagine either of these guys fucking packing. Okay? Nah, they're not packing. He doesn't got that choker. The fat guy, and this guy doesn't got that Persian length. Nah, man, no. They don't got shit. They don't got shit. They're not screaming hung. Okay.
Massey and Bondi, There's a part about Massey and Bondi.
Oh my God, the fucking throat's infected so fucking hard, man. Smegma was okay. I'm doing it too much.
Bondi going back and forth. This is it. I want to get your thoughts on Massey. Go ahead, Rob.
Respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question. It's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700,
Okay.
and we invited
what?
you
Switch-
in.
show the video.
This
Show the-
guy has Trump derangement
Trump derangement.
syndrome. He needs to get.
Trump arrangement.
You're a failed politician.
Sorry, I'm not gonna give you any commentary on this. Can we all imagine this is a Valentine's Day? I'm gonna talk imagine this is just oh no, I'm gonna lose my voice. Imagine this is just Valentine's Day date. We have a nice fire going, and this is our idea of entertainment because we're all fucking weird as fuck. Because to me, this is my idea of entertainment. Watching reactionaries try to argue their point. I mean, you can't get it. There's no fucking Netflix comedy show or rom-com that can beat this fucking content.
Gentlemen, I want you to watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information.
What do you think about Massey?
I think this is the only time where she was right. But I think Massey overall is the good guy comparatively. So I'm not putting him down. Just if you look at this one play, because I did see this last night. One reason I didn't sleep last night, I got addicted watching all this. This stuff's too riveting.
It's riveting. He said riveting. Pedophile billionaires that you were talking about your whole life actually existing, but being on your side, being the billionaire class you defended so fucking often, being right-wingers that you identified with is riveting to you. The only man that grifts so far to the right that did not manage to properly monetize on most of his conspiracies to an extent coming 100% true, okay? If this was anyone else, they would be starting a cult right now. But my guy, he went ride or die and lost $1 billion fucking on school shootings, but he doesn't want to ride or die on pedophilia allegations about pedophile elites. He was like, I could excuse a few pedophile billionaires, but dead children in school shootings is where I draw the line on somebody calling me out as a liar. O, jebote, kurac. Brate, ja ne znam, ja stvarno, mislim, kako nas ovi ljudi jebu, jer pogledaju ovog pećinskog čoveka, brate. Sad pričam našim ljudima, Balkanci ako me čujete. Sloveni me razumu, drugi gore dole. Ovo su ljudi koji nas jebu. Čak im prodajemo devojčice, by the way. Ona jebem, mamu mu jebem četničku Srbin, ona je što je i jedan Ustaša ima isto mamu da mu jebem. Što su povezani sa cijelim slučajem. Što su im slali, što su im organizovali ovo tamo devojčice, ovo ono, pičku materiju. Kako god.
They did leave Les Wexler, who's the CIA controller, an owner of Victoria's Secret, a bunch of brands.
He's the one that gave the largest private residence, Manhattan, 54,000 square foot house to Epstein as a gift. That was a $77 million property for no reason.
And he just so happened to own the house that...
Why was I holding the gun? Because it feels good. I can't explain that because it feels good.
That Lutnick moved into next door.
The fake toy gun, Twitch, the fake toy airsoft replica.
Who owned it? Wexner?
Yep, same
I didn't
deal.
know that.
In a trust.
Really?
In a trust, yeah.
Wow.
It was called Comet.
So he bought it from him. Lutnick bought it from Wexner?
He didn't even know that, and that's actually true, because I spent hours seeing if Lutnick was lying about this. It was just some big Manhattan real estate trust, but it turned out it was owned above it by Wexler and Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, those things you can't control. I live in an area where Paul Castellano, the boss of the, one of the big, I think it was the Gambino family, or the Colombo family who owned the house. So, hey, how did you get the house? That's in some of those things you can't control. But go back with the story.
Didn't Al Capone like retire and die or something?
Yeah. You hear these types of stories. But go back to Massey. Massey saying that about Bondi. You were going to say something.
Speaking of mafia, these are my Joe Pesci glasses. That's why I like them Joe Pesci glasses. No, the old school Joe Pesci glasses, not these old Joe Pesci. Kind of, not really. It's a Eastern song about Joe Pesci. Like, come on. Sometimes you love globalization, okay? You gotta love globalization. It's objectively a sick track and a pretty decent fucking video. It's a sick track, except for that guy. Do you like Utro Bishkek at all? Yeah. Why the fuck not?
See.
I love how I unpause at them just being quiet.
Massey saying that about Bondi. You were going to say something.
I mean, there's so much to say about Massey. I mean, here's the deal. I've tracked this. I know the people that got involved talking to Massey.
This is so fucking funny. Well, anyways, unironically, 10 more minutes of 35% off subs. If you're going to sub this week, now is the time. You can do it for cheaper.
Emerald Robinson and so many others literally just got him asking questions a couple years ago, even before Trump got back in, and Massey was on this because the American people want it. That's why we're covering it. And then Trump gets in and says, yeah, we're going to go look at it. And then says, no, there's nothing there. It's a hoax. And we're like, what do you mean? And now there's all these documents.
Wait,